दे पुरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दियो ये जमने जमने प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो ये जमने जमने प्रभु से जमने जमने प्रभु दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित हे दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति यहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशायते प्रेम भक्ति यहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशायते वेद गाया रचरित हे वेद गाया रचरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु वदमज नर बंधु न सिंधु वदमज श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु वदमज नर बंधु लोके न जीवाना हे लोके न जीवाना पतित पवना शीला गुरुदेव पतित पवना जयो जयो प्रभुपाद 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 जयो जयो प्रभुपाद जयो जयो गुरुदेव 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 जयो जयो गुरुदेव 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 निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल 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 हरि बोल
जय मुशबाद परमहंस परवर्कचार्य स्तोत्र सत श्रीमद His Divine Grace Abhoy Charanaravinda Srila Prabhupada Founder Acharya of ISKCON Srila Prabhupada ki BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya Vishwabad Paramhans Paravarkacharya Stotra Sachi His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Gaur Premanande Guru Puja ki Jai. So warm welcome to everyone. And today how many people saw the snow? And how many people have smile on their face? Did you go out and play? No, you didn't go out. There was a student lady from Bharat, from India, opposite us. So I had to go somewhere, so I was scraped in the car. And she came out and she was on the phone to her parents, look, snow. So I go, snow, isn't it? And she goes, snow, you know. So, you know, just a simple thing like a snow is so welcoming. And similarly, the Lord is so special, more special than the snow. And He's there for us, and we really appreciate you coming and joining us. And what we'll have is, we'll be doing kirtans. Kirtan means to glorify the Lord. And simple thing like glorifying the Lord is actually dharma. It's considered religion, you know. And there's other rules and regulations, but the main one in Kali Yuga is that we chant the holy name of the Lord. So this Mahamantra, kirtans we do, you just say the names and then feel the Lord inside your heart. So, but the main singer will sing the Mahamantra and we follow the tune. Simple, that's called kirtan. It means he's glorifying, then we glorify. And the results are amazing. You get a peaceful mind, a very loving heart, and a family, because you're coming as a family, the whole family gets blessed. The family which prays together stays together. And these days people don't stay together. You know, they don't. But this religion is the glue. You know, it keeps us together like that. And you'll get challenges in life anyway. Whether you're devotee or not, you get challenges. You know, even like with Corona, look, everybody got challenged. With old age, you know, people can't relate to it. And then eventually, if death happens of someone separated, you get bewildered, like what happened, why this, you know. But we have to face those challenges. Best to understand what they are. So Bhagavad Gita, we also recite. Today, special, there's one devotee went to Vrindavan and he's come back, so Avatar. So I've asked him to speak, so he's very, very shy. I had to really force him because he usually leaves, you know. Anyway, so I said, you're going to speak something because you got mercy from Vrindavan, you give it to us, just like prasad, you know. So look forward to that, and also kirtans, new melodies. And between 3:30 and 4:30, they teach here, Prabhu's to others how to play mardanga, how to sing better, all this kind of thing, without charge. I mean, come on, that's great. No charge at all. The only thing is you should have the hunger or the thirst to get trained up. And you know, some people are naturally good at this, others, they need to practice a little bit like that. But Krishna doesn't want experts. You know, when you have a little baby, when the baby says, Dada, Mummy, you like it so much, he doesn't say it perfectly. So similarly, even if you make mistakes, the Lord actually laughs, thinking, at least you tried, you know. So please don't have to be Tansan or brilliant singers. You just sing from the heart. That's what's required. So Guru Sevak, you ready? Yeah.
Oh, cheers.
Who's backing you?
Who's got cymbals first? All right, very slow. So just, I think she wants cymbals.
Round there. People will come and sit on them later, that's what I'm saying. Just
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Give it to Anuragi sing.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Everybody.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Jai Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ramo Ramo Hare Hare.
Everybody now.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Bolo bolo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Haribo.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam
So when they got ready to dance, you stopped.
Oh, okay.
That's terrible. I sack him. Big round of applause for him. That was a lovely melody. Yeah. Bolo Jai Jai Shri Radhesha. So welcome to the new guests who've just come in. It's warmer here than outside, yes? Okay. And later on we have a feast for you. We'll warm you over here as well. So warm welcome to everyone. And this is ISKCON Coventry. And on the altar, you might be wondering who is there. On the right is Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. I think people are familiar with that. And Sudarshan. And the deities in the middle, two of them, is Nityanand Prabhu on the left, and on the right is Sachinandan, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand, who came 500 years ago, and they come to freely give love of Krishna to everyone. So that's why we glorify them. And then there's Radha Madhav on the left, is small deities, and then there's some Shaligrams there and Radha Raman picture. So Guru Sevak, a family has just come last week and from Bharat, and apparently they would like to sing a bhajan. What's the name? Sonia. Sonia ji, aap mic le lijiye unse. There was there's the Ishan is got it over there. So, do you play the harmonium? Okay, you just without it. Would you like to play with harmonium or like? Without. Ishan ji, you need another mic, yeah? Yeah, we'll take it. Yeah.
Hello.
Bhajan Krishna. Do you want to play? Do you want to play? No, you're going to start the show now.
Nitai Gaur. Hare Krishna. Hare Gaur. भजनिताई गौर राधे श्याम।
माता जी एक बात है, ये जो भजन आप गा रहे हैं तो ISKCON में नहीं गाते।
नहीं गा रहे?
राधे कृष्णा
जब हरे कृष्ण हरे।
हाँ, ये तो नहीं गाते।
Okay.
क्योंकि ये उड़ीसा का था, तो हम गोड़िया से ना, बंगाल से, तो उड़ीसा में उन्होंने बदल दिया, तो हम यहाँ महामंत्र करते हैं, पर भारत में ऐसे पॉपुलर है, तो इसलिए क्षमा चाहता हूँ। मैं कह रहा हूँ बड़ा अच्छा भजन है, पर हमारे जो भक्ति सिद्धांत जी थे ना, तो वो कह रहे थे कि ये चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने नहीं दिया है, क्योंकि चैतन्य महाप्रभु जी बंगाल से थे, तो ये उड़ीसा में जो ब्रांच है, तो उनके कोई आचार्य थे, उन्होंने पैदा किया, तो रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं उसको। तो इसलिए मैं कहता हूँ, नहीं तो क्योंकि वो जा रहा है ना जूम पे, तो जो नहीं जूम पे जाता तो अब झूमना, कोई बात नहीं, अभी जूम पे होगा तो पकड़ेंगे हमें कि आपने अलाउ कर दिया है।
हरे रामा 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 हरे 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 रामा
रामा रामा हरे हरे हरे
कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
हरे रामा Krishna Krishna
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Hari Bol,
Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Krishna
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, 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 Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
बोले श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की
Jai
वृंदावन धाम की
Jai.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मुझे मौका देने के लिए धन्यवाद
एक ही प्रॉमिस चाहते हैं एवरी वीक आ जाएगा Wasn't that beautiful? Come on, big round of applause. So it's wonderful, yeah. I mean, later on there's more, there's Aarti, there'll be more Kirtans. We did a home program on Saturday. We did a Griya Pravesh today. Somebody's house, they got a new house. 5 years ago, we did the Griha Pravesh ceremony for the house, and they told us they've only known prosperity. Welcome to, are you from Warwick University as well? All Warwick, yeah. Did you get a free coach today or something? Early on there was another Warwick student, they went like that. So thank you for coming. Really, that young man over there, he went to Warwick University. Can you wave, Guru Sevak? I'll put the other lights on. Just the middle two, the two of this. And, you know, it's nice to be a student, yes? Your parents expect you to do well. So don't you fail, okay? Because I'm a father, I know. They invested in, and you know, you got a loan or something, maybe you got to pay it back, all right? So then you better get a good job as well, right? But apart from that, you got to have the highest goal. And that goal is knowing who you're connected to eternally. Because at the moment we're connected temporarily to each other, right? And you think that's really important. But then something happens. People get separated, and then you're suddenly thinking, what's the point of life, right? You repose so much love in each other, nature splits you. You know, and then you start to think, so what was all this about? I invested in my life, in my studies and whatever, and bingo, it's gone. So Prabhupada went to the West just to secure the youth. You know, the old people are dying anyway. But the young people, they don't have an aim then. And there was a program last night, Donovan, he used to be a good singer. Still is, still alive. So he was saying, because he was a great singer in 60s, he went to Bharat, India, did yoga there. He was with John Lennon, Paul McCartney, others. And he was saying how he's still looking great, you know, others, because of drugs and whatever, they died. And he said, young people come to me and said in 60s, it was the age of discovery. People were discovering, you know, the hippie, the Beatles and all that. He said, now there's nothing to discover. So what's the point in living and what's the point in dying? So you can see the young people are sort of thinking, what is it about? But birth, death, old age, it never goes out of fashion. It's always there. So I'll tell you this today. How many people are scared of dying? How many people are scared of dying? Okay. If you're not scared of dying, please go to Ukraine or Russia, because they'll need you, I think. But people are scared of dying. Why? What happens? Do you know what happens after death? Anybody? Yes. You're reborn. That's good. That's good. Give a big round of applause. You're reborn. Do you remember who you were in your last life? Maybe you were mummy and she was your daughter. You never know. So you can see, we don't know what's going to happen after death. And what is death? It's a good question, isn't it? What is death? Anybody wants to answer what is death? In your words, yes?
When the soul departs the body.
Okay, so do you ever see the soul departing? Nobody does, yeah. But the thing is, it's not the soul, it's you leaving your body. Because if I point my finger at any one of you, you think I'm pointing at your body. Because we are familiar, when we look in the mirror, this is all you see. Not my face, I mean your face and whoever it is. So you get familiar with that and you start to identify with that. And that in itself is a lie. To think this is, like Prabhupada used to say, people think I'm American, I'm Indian, I'm African. It's all connected with the skin. So you have to realize who you really are. In Sanskrit it says, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Means you become inquisitive, who am I? So what I'll do is, we just want to be happy in this hour. So I'm just taking you seriously on the side saying, there is good news that you never die. Everybody say, we never die. But the body does. So that really explains it. And when they heard Prabhupada say that, the Americans were amazed. Because Vietnam War was on and people were shooting. I mean, in America they're shooting every day, you know. The guns are there, so they go to school and shoot them. The very school they studied in, they didn't like it. Don't do that. Okay, don't go to university. And they say, we went to Shri Radhakrishna Culture Center. The guy says, we never die. So they do. No, they do. Don't prove me wrong. So Prabhupada, actually when he said that you never die, it was amazing for them. They realized, oh my God, we identifying with this body and that's why we are suffering. So they became peaceful. But wars continue, whether you understand. By the way, she's our spiritual master. She's scared of all of us, but she'll go to the new people. Like, what are you doing here? Look at her. I mean, otherwise she won't come to anybody. They say, what are you doing here? She goes very close to somebody, you know. Quite intimidating, actually. So what happens is, when we identify with the soul, please tell yourself every day, when in front of the mirror, you've got to look at yourself and just say, I'm never going to die. It brings a smile on your face. So just follow me, okay? Everybody, do like this. I'm never going to die, okay? Pretend there's a mirror here. Okay, come on, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Now, tomorrow morning when you get up, do the same thing. You'll smile. I still do it. You know, whatever age I am, I go there. And another thing is, just learn to laugh at yourself. Just say to yourself, you're funny, even if you're not. But when you say you're funny, it means don't get too serious about life. When somebody's telling you that you never die, my God, it's good news. Really is. But the only thing is you'll be separated from the people you know. But you won't be alone. That's the good news. Why you won't be alone? Because if you chant Hare Krishna, Raise your hands. So what happens is when you leave, you get special treatment because you chanted the Lord's name. In Bhagavatam, there's a Jamal story where he was about to die. His son was named Narayan, and he saw the 3 Yamaduts coming with chains to pull him out of the body. And he panicked, and he looked at his son and went, Narayan! And immediately Vishnuduts came. And the Yamdut said, no, he's a sinner. He gave up his wife, then he married this prostitute, and then he just called for his son. Because sorry, he said Narayan. That's it. The name is so powerful. It's very, very moving. Even Vyasdev was moved. Just with that name, he was protected. So let's say, suppose it's your time now. It isn't, because it's only when you have prasad, then you might ascend, because it's lovely prasad. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to say, it's your last moment, and you're going to shout Krishna really loudly. I really like to hear the room. If you don't do it, because it's a practice, you see, because it will happen one day, and then I remember what I did, Okay, here we go, everybody. 1, 2, 3, and you're going to shout Krishna loudly, okay? And I'll do without the mic. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You're very, very good. Please don't take them now. All right, later on. Okay. So you can see you practiced. You've said Krishna's name. How easy is that? But because we don't understand the value of the name Krishna and Ram and Hare, we're just thinking it's another mantra. And that's why we were telling you how to do the mantra, because it's given by the authorized person. And what people do is, who are musicians, they sometimes do it like this and the other. Some bits are great. It's nice to be musical, but we just keep it authorized, especially the Mahamantra. If it's anything else, that's okay, because that is authorized by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's approach, saying in the Shastra, it says Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And that is Shastra. So those who are not qualified, they can't chant this, because it'll be Veda's mantra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, okay, I'll turn it round. I'll say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So he authorized it. But guess what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving with this Mahamantra? The Mahamantra was there already before. In doing so, he put in love of Radha Krishna. He put it in there. So just by saying the same mantra before, you'll get benefit. Now you're going to get Radha Krishna's love. How many people like to go to the movies? Come on, be honest. Yes, yes, yes. We all do, because stories are good, the hero, the heroine, all that is very, very nice. Did you write the story when you go to see it? Were you the actor in it, or actresses? Nothing. What happens when you see a really good movie? What happens to you? Do you feel involved as you leave? The scenes are in there, the message is there, whatever. You do. So you can see, you didn't make it, you didn't write it, yet you're influenced. So similarly, when you start to read the Radha Krishna's pastimes, it's like a film, right? The film influences you. This is real. It's called Nitya Leela. These pastimes continue happening. It's not just happening in Bollywood or Hollywood. It's happening in Golok. So when you start to read about it, you get the hearts get the impression, if there is one love which is higher than this temporary love, it is eternal love of Radha and Krishna. And so you're interested in Radha Krishna. That love is given as a prasad in your heart. Your life becomes wonderful. Otherwise, if you like a girl, you knock on the door saying, I love you. She doesn't know you. She'll give you a Christmas present. Just because you love someone doesn't mean they're going to respond, right? Similarly, if somebody comes to you and you don't think they're very pretty, they say, I'm fond of you, I like you. You really get nervous thinking, oh my God, what do I do with this now? Because they've approached you. See, reciprocation is difficult. So you have to just glorify Krishna, but at the moment the connection hasn't been made. But when you come to the temples, in the proper association, you understand that love. Your heart has loads of desires. It's not wrong, it's natural. Everybody has loads of desires. That stops you from loving Krishna in pure way. That's all. But it's not wrong. It's not sin. When you chant Mahamantra, we'll chant Mahamantra now, it's guaranteed you'll never reincarnate as an animal, ever. Or a fish, or a bird. So shall we try that? So I'm saving your lives now. Help me. Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 4. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. You've just ensured yourself. You're not going to be born as animal, fish, bird, insect, or anything. And what will happen is, it won't guarantee that you'll be a devotee of Krishna next life. So that's why we have a system where you actually serve a pure person, somebody like Srila Prabhupada, something. So you have a spiritual master. So what he does is, he further purifies you, because he knows how to do it. Like if I tied you up, you can't untie yourself if I do it strongly. But if I'm untied, I can untie you. You see, that's what a spiritual master is. He's not tied up in desires like we are. We lot of desires from morning to evening, you know. Ye ho jaye, wo ho jaye. So then the spiritual master unties you, and then you can serve Krishna. And when you, in your life, perfect serving Krishna, you fall in love with Radha Krishna. It's not between you and Krishna in a lusty way. You're just reading about Radha Krishna's pastime, Ras Krida, meeting each other. Radharani's mother-in-law comes looking after. Oh, Krishna is God. He's not setting very good example. He's got a lover. He never married Radharani. So what's going on wrong here? He did. In Bandirvan, in Vrindavan, Brahmaji came himself and married them when they were young. Right? But they wanted to enjoy a higher rasa than marriage. I joke about it in marriage. What happens? Wife says, "Ji, le aiyo bazaar to. You know, ye le aana, please bring this, bring that. Can you hoover? Guests are coming. Can you know, that's love. Working relationship love, right? But lovers, they don't ask each other anything. They just think of each other. And the best lovers are that they are unable to meet. So what you do is, you're thinking of them day and night. So that's called Parikhya Bhav. Svakhya is husband and wife. You need each other's help to, you know, live your life. That's all. But love means beyond that. It's not about material necessities. You actually so much in love with them, just thinking of them gives you that buzz which you don't get in 24 hours. Just for a moment, you think of them, there's a buzz. That's why Radha Krishna came here to experience that Parikhya Bhav, beyond the ordinary. Otherwise, Rukmini Krishna married. He was happy with that. But even in Dwarka, he would say, Radhe, Radhe. Rukmini thinking, whose name is he saying? She told Satyabhama, he's saying Radhe, Radhe. So whose name is that? So then they got curious about knowing, you know, Radharani. Can you see how much detail is there? I'm holding back like I could flood you. But I'm just telling you basic. Hello, spiritual master. How are you doing? See, children are so innocent. You can play with them. You're innocent? Get off. Look, she's a boss, you know, going around. So anyway, it's lovely. And it's nice to have children. By the way, all the children who come here, they learn a lot. They learn Gita, shlokas, and everything. So please do bring them. And I'm glad you've taken your gloves off. I was getting worried. I was thinking, maybe you're hiding your hands, you know. It's not that cold. But it'll get worse later on. And at Christmas, it will stop snowing. That's when we want the snow. Yeah, we've seen it many years. So now I'll just give you an introduction, because it's really wrong of us if somebody new comes and we don't introduce the philosophy we live by. And this temple is open 7 days a week. And if somebody's really keen, wants to come at 4:30 to do Mangal Aarti, you're welcome. But otherwise, they're open till 9 or 10. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. And then in the evening, from 7:30 onwards, yeah, and you'll have prasad as well, and then kirtans and Bhagavad Gitas are being sponsored. If any students can't afford a copy of Bhagavad Gita, please, Anuragi, they should see you. Where's Anuragi? Oh, there's Anuragi. Anuragi, wave again. So Anuragi has got a bookshop as well. If you want any mala, tilaks or anything, she's got a small bookshop, right? But he does very well. Give a big round of applause for having a shop. Oh, they're the assistant. But anyway, if any of the students want a Bhagavad Gita and you can't afford it, we'll give it to you free. Is that okay? Yes. No, we've got sponsors and all that. We're not just saying it. And we're not losing out, don't worry. We get people to sponsor and then we give them out. So please, students, if you don't have a copy of Bhagavad Gita, see Anuragi and then you can have a copy. Is that okay? Because Gita is a brief explanation of life. And just like if you're sitting, here's a question. If you stand in front of the ocean for 6 hours, what would be your conclusion about the ocean? If you want to, yeah? Right, there's waves there, yes, and there's tide as well, high tide, low tide. So even after 6 hours, that's about it, isn't it? Seagulls there, bit of weeds, the sand and whatever. After 6 hours, 8 hours, same conclusion. You're not going to find anything deeper. But as you're leaving, thinking, I know what the sea is. As you're leaving, another person is coming with swimming costume, whatever. He's going to dive in. And he goes, is the sea just that? He will laugh, he says, just go 3 meters down and you'll see incredible life there. Different fish, octopus and everything. See? He'll go, oh, but I've been here 6 hours, but this is my conclusion. Well, you can have your conclusion, but you didn't go deep enough. So Bhagavad Gita is like that. You can read it over and over again and you think you got it. That's it. Very simple. But Prabhupada takes you deeper because you got to dive in. That is the difference with this Bhagavad Gita as it is. Please take it and read Prabhupada's purport on every verse. The verse is simple, but you don't realize the depth of it. And the depth makes you really convinced that in this life, I can be a student, I can be a working person, I can be a housewife, I can be a primary school kid, but there's a higher purpose. And the higher purpose is... Look, can you take her out, please? Because she's such a distraction. I'm talking deep and she's just bringing joy to everybody. Okay, very good. So, now she's climbing the harmonium. So, anybody got any question? Okay, when does the program start? Okay, that's a good question. So, what's happening next? Okay, so the children, if you can go out into the back room, is part of the Bal Gopal, so that's your teacher. And please cooperate with her. Right. So what's the age limit? She never said so. What's the age limit? You don't know. So, okay, so I'll find it and let them come in. But in the meantime, what should we do? Oh, Vibhu. Where's Vibhu? Where's Vibhu? Can't get Vibhu. Kitchen. Keshav ji. Oh, Vibhu nu saddiya ho jana. So anybody got any question or any comments? No? Have you got a copy of Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, all of you have, yeah. All right. Harmonium kholna.
हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Everybody sing.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare।
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare।
Hare Krishna
Jai Ho।
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare।
Everybody,
bolo bolo bolo।
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare।
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare।
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
चलो चलो
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
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 Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. सबको मिले वृंदावन धाम, बोलो वृंदावन धाम की जय।
Jai Ho. Come on, another round of applause. That was really nice. These students are actually KSOC admins. They organize the KSOC, yeah, in work. So welcome them. Come on, give a big round of applause. It's a great responsibility. And thank you for coming. And what we'll do now is, if somebody can call Avatar, a light on, Garde. Get the romantic light off. And put the other one on. So Avatar, he's, where is he? Yeah. That's children's Sunday school, they're having a great time. There's one teacher controlling loads of kids. That's amazing. Avatar ji. Baithiye. So this is Avatar. Yeah, they're making Avatar movie number 2. Are you part of it? He's the original, yeah. He's the original Avatar, yeah. So it's wonderful. Now, Avatar's quality is, I don't want to talk too much, behind his back, so I'll come in the front. And he actually comes early, and he washes all the dishes, and then he leaves by 5:30, so you don't see him afterwards. So he does all this service so nicely. And he was the first one who came, and then he brought his younger brother, who's Patapavan, here. And I told him, which year was that? 87, 88, yeah. And so you can see he's been coming since then. So I told him, you got a brother, so bring him along. He goes, oh no, he's Shivji Bhakt. He won't take to Krishna. So I said, it's all right, bring him along. And I think he took duck takes to water straight away. Straight away got involved into it, So, and their background is Sikh background. From Sikh background, they became Vaishnavas and all that. And they go to Gurudwara and they do this thing. They understand Guru Granth Sahib even deeper than before. And that's what Prabhupada said. If you're Christian, you read Bhagavad Gita, you become better Christian because you have more understanding of the philosophy. Because there's only one God. We've had people challenge us, so, Allah and, all these different Jehovah, different names. But it's like the sun in the sky. You can call it different names, it's still the sun. Somebody said a rose, Romeo and Juliet. Okay, there you go, Romeo and Juliet. It's sad because there were two conflicting families and the boy and girl fell in love. She said a rose called by another name still has a scent. So it doesn't matter what you call it. So similarly, the Supreme Lord is one. We know him differently from different cultures. So he's just been to Vrindavan. I didn't even know he was going. Till my wife told me, Avatar is going to Vrindavan. Oh no, Bharat. It was a wedding or something, somebody's wedding, yeah. Begani Shadi Mein, Abdullah Diwana. Anyway, so he went for the wedding, but his heart was in
It was in Vrindavan.
His heart. You know, we used to have T-shirts. I left my heart in Vrindavan. So he sent me a text. Could you give me the contact? We have one contact in Vrindavan. The ashram I'm at, I want to move to the better place near Radha Raman Mandir. I said, okay. So I organized all that. And then he stayed for 6 days, I think.
6 days.
Yeah. So then he helped out Premaji. That's my wife sitting there. She's wanted something for Vrindavan special. So he actually went out of his way to the Loi Bazaar, and then he got whatever she wanted like that. So give him a round of applause for being so, you know, service attitude. But he's very shy. He doesn't want to come in front of the mic or anything. I had to drag him because usually he leaves by 5:30. So he's done a special favor. Thank you, Avtar. I'll appreciate it. So now the thing is, he sits quietly, but when he starts to describe things, they're quite deep. He asks the most awkward question. Whenever we used to have a class, he'll ask very simple, awkward question. And he made sense. And you would have thought, that's foolish point. But his view is always very simplistic. He said, well, how can this be like that? I always like that in you. And then you made a little video, and his descriptions are very, very nice. So I wanted to hear him. So, Avatar, give him a big round of applause, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Haridas Prabhuji, he insisted that I speak for a few minutes, but it's quite difficult for me to speak because I'm not used to public speaking, so I get a bit nervous. But I will do my best. And so this year, often, I don't go to India very often, or Bharat, as we say in this temple. But this year, I ended up going twice. So the last time I went, it was in 2014, and that was with my brother and some other devotees, and that was one of the best trips I've ever had. But this year, we went in May because I wanted to go to a place called Hemkund. Some of you might have heard of it, and but for others, it's near Badrinath. So a lot of people would have heard of Badrinath. It's high up in the Himalayas. But when I came away from that trip, I still wasn't satisfied because that time round I didn't go to Vrindavan. And for most people in this temple, they could go wherever they want on the planet, and they're always thinking of Vrindavan. So when I was in India, I was thinking, oh, only if I could go to Vrindavan, even for a day or so. But from Punjab, it's really far away. We live in the very north, as far away as you can possibly get. And in Indian terms, it's pretty quick, you know, within a day you can get to Vrindavan, but nonetheless it's pretty far. So that time round, I didn't go to Vrindavan. And then my nephew all of a sudden decided to get married. It was work in progress for 3 years, but he never told us. You know, I wish people would say that, you know, they've got plans. That's something to keep in mind for youngsters. You know, that if you got plans, let people know so that they can decide on their schedule. So if I'd known that he was going to get married, I wouldn't have gone to India in May. I would have waited until now, but we had no idea. But anyway, he's one of our eldest in the generation, and it was very important to go. So we decided to make the second trip in 2 years. And we were only going to go for 3 weeks. And then my wife and I, we were deciding which way around we were going to do it. Were we going to go to Vrindavan in the last week, or should we go to Vrindavan in the first week? And I knew from experience that the longer you leave it, the more difficult it gets. And so I decided that when we would land in Delhi, I would go and stay with my nephew in Delhi for overnight. And then his dad and we would go to Vrindavan and we would do a parikrama. That's what was in my mind. And so we decided, and when we got to Delhi, I found out that my nephew's dad was in hospital. He had a chest infection. In Delhi, people are always getting chest infections, and the pollution is very, very high. On most days, you don't see the sky. You only notice the difference when you come back here, or you go to Punjab, where you can see the sky quite clearly. And so I was really upset, because I was counting on him. And so I said to my nephew, I knew he was going to say no, but I thought I'll ask him anyway. I said, would you like to go to Vrindavan with me? He said, yes, of course. I said, but for 5 days. And his face kind of sank into the ground. I wasn't expecting him to anyway. He's pretty young. You have to be dedicated, and he's got lots of work to do. And he said, sorry, Chachaji, I can't come with you. If you were going to go for a day or so, I could do it. But I ended up going on my own. And I went there. So we took a taxi from Delhi. Or rather, I took a taxi. When I said we, I mean the driver. So the driver was really good. It's both of the drivers I met, they were really good. I don't know whether they're just good conversational people and they have a tendency to speak and pick up on you as a person and then relate to you. But I could relate to this guy in every single way. So he took me to Vrindavan, and it was about 1 o'clock. We got to the borders, and there was a police stop. So they don't allow cars into Vrindavan for obvious reasons. It's very, very crowded. The last thing you want is people to be trampled upon by cars, and it's very, very crowded. And then they said to him, no, you can't go any further. And so he kind of turned right, and he said to me, he said, well, I'm sorry, in order to go further, I need a pass from Vrindavan. He didn't need to explain any of that to me. I heard the police officer say to him, either show me your pass or or don't pass. So he kind of took to the side, and he said to me, look, this is as far as I can go. And I only had a little suitcase, so there's only me. It's not as if I have little kids crying and it's difficult. So I said, okay, don't worry about it. I said, thanks for leaving me in the middle of nowhere. It's but it was the borders. And so I was right on the border. I thought, okay, it's not going to be very difficult for me. I'll just take another taxi from here. But those of you who are from India, that in India it's not just taxis. There's all sorts of vehicles. So when I say a taxi, it could be a three-wheeler. It could be one of those electric vehicles that they have nowadays. They're very geared. They're very geared for tourism. So I took my little suitcase and I crossed the checkpoint into Vrindavan. But I was very nervous because I've never been anywhere new on my own. And I kept thinking, what are you doing, Avtar? Why are you coming here on your own? It's like within your mind, you have your mind, you have your intelligence, you have lots of other things. You have about 5 voices, and it's like having 5 people. And you're talking to yourself, only if you could hear yourself, you'd think you're mad. And so I said, but this is what you wanted, for all those years. You were praying that I haven't had enough time. My brother's over there, and I would often complain to him that every time we go, we're tied by time, and it's rush, 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 rush. get onto this tampu and we're going to visit these 3 temples, get onto this tampu and we're going to visit these 4 temples. But I'm one of those people that I don't like to travel too much. So once I'm at a particular place, I'm quite happy to stay there. You know, so in my mind, just to get a concept of what I'm looking at and the kind of thought process I'm going through, it's like one of those movies that's based in an elevator. I could quite happily live that life. You know, you wake up and then you go to sleep, you do the same thing all over again. So it doesn't bother me that I'm not doing anything new. So this is all new. You know, I've never been to Vrindavan on my own. It's often with the devotees in this room. So straight away I was missing them. I was thinking, why am I doing this? You know, I should have just stayed in Delhi. You know, it's and waited for the chap to get better, and then we could have come back. And then you kind of console yourself and think, no, you know, I'm going to make the best of this. So once I'd settled on it, that I'm going to make the best of this, and then your mind starts working for you. It's a bit like working on an assignment. Then you know, you think, oh, this is really hard. You know, I'm never going to get this done. And then you tell yourself, no, you got to get it done. You know, you've got to spend those 6 or 7 hours in the library and just shun all your friends, and your best friends are your books. So kind of almost like that. You know, I think, okay, I've got these 5 days, and I'm going to make the best of it. So I booked myself into, there's a place at Krishna Balaram. You know, it's really convenient. It's behind the temple, and most people stay there. You know, it's some of you might have stayed there already. The devotees certainly have. And the first day I was there, so just to settle myself in, I thought I'm not going to run around, you know, trying to go to all the different temples on the first day. I'm here for 5 days, so I'm just going to cherish this one temple. So on the first day, I stayed at Krishna Balaram, and I knew nobody there, you know. And then I kept telling myself, well, that's not true. You do know somebody here. You know, your best friend lives here, and that's your best friend. That's your best friend. You know, that's everybody's best friend, and we all know who I'm talking about. And I thought, well, you know, I've come to see my best friend, and this is where he lives. So this is not a strange place. You know, this is home, and this is where we all want to be. So I'm talking to myself like that, and darshan was closed. And then they ring the bell, and I think it's midday Aarti, and they do Aarti, so I attend Aarti, I look at the deities, and you just thank them for, I thank them for bringing me there. And then we go off and have a bite to eat. And then before I know, it's evening. You know, I don't know where all the time went. You know, in Vrindavan, you could just be sitting there chanting. So I sat down on the steps leading into the temple after the Aarti was over. And it was evening. You know, I don't know where the time went. So I started chanting. I started looking at the lordships, started appreciating Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi. You know, there's so much to see. And it's evening, so then attend evening Aarti. And I thought, okay, you know, so this is Krishna Balaram, this is what I want to see. And so that's my first day. And the next day, I'm still at Krishna Balaram. I wake up and I go to Aarti. The best Aarti that you can go to, all Aartis are best, but the best one is Mangal Aarti. You know, that's where, for some reason, all the senior devotees, they seem to be at that one. You know, so if you want to see lots of senior devotees, then that's the Aarti to go to. After that, they disappear. I don't know where they go. You know, I didn't see them in the evening. Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't see them in the evening. I didn't see them at midday. But in the morning, you always see them. So I suppose they must have the kind of secret life of a devotee, where they go, where they go off and they go off to darshan at other places. But there's lots of people that you see, lots of devotees that you see. So second day, I was at Krishna Balaram, and you hear people talking, you hear the tourists talking, you know, all the temples they're going to do. And then somebody said, oh, we're going to go to the Prem Mandir. This is people talking to themselves. And I've never been to the Prem Mandir before. You know, this is my first time. And one of the Sikh guys, and he said, well, it's pointless going to the Prem Mandir in the daytime. And I'm thinking, I wonder why that is. You know, why is he saying that it's pointless going to the Prem Mandir at daytime? You know, that's the best time to go. And he said, well, you're not going to see the lights. And but Krishna Balaram, the last arati happens at 8:30 in the evening. After 8:30, about 8:15, the temple starts to close. By 8:30, everybody's out. So the evening is all yours. And I thought, okay, now this is perfect timing. I could go to the Prem Mandir. And you just follow the crowd. You know, it's you go out of the Krishna Balaram and they turn right and just follow the crowd. This is where they're all going. They're all heading to the Prem Mandir. It's a huge complex. It's like a university campus, but it's all very touristy. It's they have lots of buildings. They have artificial cows. They have artificial peacocks. It just reminds you, when I was in there, when I was in the Brahma Mandir, it just kind of reminded me what we've done to this planet. We've destroyed absolutely everything. And that's why they had to build peacocks out of stone. They had to build cows. There's lots of cows, but they had to build cows and other creatures out of artificial materials so that we could appreciate them. But that's what I kept thinking. It just reminded me at that temple, other than the light show, you know, the temple is absolutely exceptional. It's perhaps one of the most beautiful temples you'll probably ever see. But it just reminds you, you know, what we do as a species. We're good at destroying nature. Even the hedges, I think, are artificial. I don't think they were real. I mean, you'll have to probably see for yourself. Those of you who've been, you'll probably have to touch the trees. They're so good that you won't know from, well, I won't, because I wear glasses, so it's so I wasn't able to tell whether they were real. Only the animals I knew that they weren't real. But the trees and other plants, I don't know if they were real or not. They probably weren't, because they were very tidy. And on day 3, I spoke with Haridas Prabhu, and actually something else happened on day 2. I decided to walk from Krishna Balaram right to Loi Bazaar. And I thought, okay, you know, I'm here, I'm just going to start walking. And for those of you who know, it's a very, very long road. It's like an American road, dead straight. So you could carry on walking straight, as far as you possibly can. And eventually you end up in Loi Bazaar. And so I wasn't intending on going to any other temple on day 2, just Krishna Balaram. And later on that evening, I went to the Prem Mandir. So this is about midday. And so I walked into Vrindavan town center. And there was a huge crowd. So right at the end of the road, there's a checkpoint where, so if you took a rickshaw, you would have to change there. Everybody has to change. So there's no direct rickshaws from Krishna Balaram to the other side of Vrindavan. You would have to change. And there's a huge crowd. And out of curiosity, I thought, okay, you know, let's ask the locals, you know, what's this, all this chaos? It was very chaotic. You know, there's thousands of pilgrims, and they're all pushing each other. They're trying to deposit their shoes at a checkpoint. And I asked them, I said, well, what's all this for? And they said, oh, this is for Banke Bihari. And Banke Bihari is one of the most popular temples. It is perhaps the most popular temple, Banke Bihari. Everybody goes to Vrindavan to see Banke Bihari. And there's thousands of people. There's that many that you cannot see the pavement. You cannot see the road. All you can see is bodies and heads and people. So I decided to join this crowd, and they're pushing you in the direction that you're meant to be going. It's like joining a river. And I'm not a very good at pushing. I don't think most people are from the West. You know, we're not good at pushing people, but Indians are very good at that. You know, it's so I'm somewhere in the center, and I got my hands up like that. You know, I'm trying not to touch anybody, and it's very difficult not to touch, because the Indians, you know, they have no concept of privacy. You know, there's just no concept. You know, you just think, how come I don't know you? What are you touching me for? You know, but you can't say that to them, because that's just the way things are in India. And somebody's pressing against me on the back, somebody's pressing against me on the front, and I'm thinking, oh, this is a lady in front of me. You know, I'm not supposed to be, but nobody cares there. You know, it's but anyway. And all I could think of was, okay, by joining this crowd, I'm eventually going to end up at Banke Bihari. And that's exactly what happened about 2.5 hours later. 2.5 hours later, and this is midday. And it was so hot. The mornings were so cold, and the evenings were so cold. But midday was just really, really hot. So I spent, perhaps it was more than 2.5 hours. Maybe it was even 3. But yeah, it's and we kept pushing, and rather people kept pushing me in the direction that we're meant to go. And then eventually we, by kind of turning and twisting and making our way to Banke Bihari, eventually ended up in this temple. And the change, I remember going to that temple in the past. When I say in the past, I'm saying maybe 2003, 2004, and even in 2014, where you'd be able to, at a steady pace, walk into this temple and offer your obeisances. But now it was such big crowds, and I don't know why. It was the end of Kartik, so it wasn't, and most people had, most of the Vaishnavas who follow the northern calendars had gone off to Puri, but still there were big crowds. You know, it's thousands of people, and then, but Banke Bihari, because of the crowds, often in the past you wouldn't get very good darshan, because they'll push you on. They'd say, okay, move on, move on, move on. But because it was, it's just not possible to move so many people very quickly. I must have stayed at the front for something like 5 minutes, taking darshan of Banke Bihari. And even then, I had to push myself out. I thought, okay, Avtar, you're being selfish. You know, even though you're not being pushed in the direction of the exit, I have to try and make a move. If everybody did what I did there, you just wouldn't be able to get darshan. So I started pushing, or rather moving, in the direction of the exit, and eventually made my way out. But there's lots of stories like this, and I must have visited about 5 temples So there was Krishna Balaram, there was Banki Bihari. There's another temple, I lose its name, and it's very close to Banki Bihari. And I think Radha Vallabh, kind of up a narrow street. Yes, Radha Vallabh. How I ended up in that temple is a miracle. You know, it's I've got no idea. I can't explain. It's almost like as if the Lord wanted me to have darshan, and people just guide you. It's people said, "Oh, you must go to Radha Vallabh's," and I said, "Well, where's that?" And they said, "Well, you just follow this street," and I ended up in Radha Vallabh. After that, Radha Raman, I spent many days. You know, it's that's a story in its own right. Radha Raman and Radha Damodar temple. These two temples are they're not very close to each other, but these two temples I was at more or less every single day, and I have lots of stories to tell about those, but they're probably for another day. And thank you, Haridas Prabhu, for giving me a moment to speak. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. And when you go over there, whatever he was describing, we were there because we've done it again and again. And the crowds it's become so popular. Same in Jagannath Puri as well. Somebody went to Jagannath Puri, they come back saying it's become so popular you can't get in. Even late at night is packed. It's the television, he makes everything popular. But Krishna doesn't mind. He blesses all of them. Okay, so now we'll do Aarti. If you'd like to stand up, please. We'll do the Aarti. After that, there'll be a feast served. And if you have any questions, please do ask us afterwards. Jai, thank you very much. Okay.
Gurvani, pat me up.
All right. I'll give you.
Jai Sachinandana Jayo Nitai Chan. Jayo Sachinandana Jayo Nitai Chan. Red mic, please, red mic. Jai Sachinandana Jayo Nitai Chan. Jaya Sachinandana Jayo Nitai Chan. Shiva Jayo Jayo Gaura Chande Aroti Kasho. चन्द्रजिनी पदनयोजवाला बहु कोटि चन्द्रजिनी गालादेशे वनमाला कोरे जलमाला शिवा सुख नारदा प्रेमे करकारा भक्ति विनोदा देखे गौरार संपादा शिव जयो गौरा चंदे आरती का शोभा जानावी टाटवाने जगमन लोभा ओ गौरांगे आरती शोभा जगा जन मन लोभा ओ गौरांगे आरती शोभा जगा जन मन लोभा ओ जगा जन मन लोभा ओ जगा जन मन लोभा निता गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निता गौरा हरि बोल निता गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निता गौरा हरि बोल 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 हरि बोल
नमयो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने
कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्वशेष शून्यवादी पश्चादिशतारिणे
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare those ones Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Gaura 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 Hare, Bolo Gaura 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 Hare, Bolo Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare, Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare, Oh Jaya Nitaja, Jaya Nitaja, Jaya Nitaja, Jaya Nitaja, Bolo Gaura 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 Hare, Oh Gaura 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 Hare, Oh Gaura 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 Hare, Bolo Gaura 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 Hare, Jagannatha Sa, Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami, Baba Tume,
Jagannath Swami, Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami, Baba Tume.
Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Swami Jagannath,
Jayo Jagannath, Jayo Jagannath, Jayo Jagannath, Swami Jagannath.
Jayo Baladev,
Jai Tauji,
Jai Subhadra, Jai Baladev, Jayo Subhadra,
Jayo Baladeva, Jayo Subhadra, Jayo Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra,
Jai Sudarshan,
Jai Sudarshan,
Jai Sudarshan, Jai Sudarshan,
Rakshama, Jayo Sudarshan, Jayo Sudarshan, Jayo Sudarshan, Rakshama,
Jayo Radha Madhava,
Jayo
Radha Madhava Radhe,
Jayo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe,
Jayo Giri Govardho,
Jayo
Giri Govardho,
Jayo
Giri Govardho, Jayo Giri Govardho,
Jayo Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jayo Giri Govardhan,
Jayo Shimadhusudan,
Jayo
Shimadhusudan, Shimadhusudan, Jayo Shimadhusudan,
Jayo Shri Madhusudan, Shri Madhusudan, Shri Madhusudan, Jayo Shri राम सीता राम राम राम
राम राम राम सीता राम राम राम
जय हो
सीता राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 राजा राम 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 राजा राम 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 राजा
राम राजा राम राम राम
राजा राम 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 राजा राम राम राम
सीता राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
सीता राम राम राम
सीता राम राम राम
सीता राम 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 सीता राम राम
सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
सीता राम राम राम
सीता राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
राम राम
सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
राम राम सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम
जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन
बोलो बोलो
जय जय राधे
जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम
जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन
बोलो जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम
ओ प्यारी राधे प्यारो श्याम प्यारो श्री वृंदावन
प्यारी राधे प्यारो श्याम श्री वृंदावन धाम
ओ प्यारी राधे प्यारो श्याम प्यारो श्री वृंदावन
प्यारी राधे प्यारो श्याम प्यारो श्री वृंदावन जय गोविंदा जय गोपाल केशव माधव दीन दयाल जय गोविंदा जय गोपाल केशव माधव दीन दयाल हे दीन दयाल प्रभु दीन दयाल प्रभु मदन गोपाल
दीन दयाल प्रभु दीन दयाल प्रभु मदन गोपाल
दीन दयाल प्रभु दीन दयाल प्रभु दीन दयाल
दयाल प्रभु दीन दयाल प्रभु मदन गोपाल
श्याम सुंदर कन्हैया लाल गिरिवरधारी नंद दुलाल श्याम सुंदर कन्हैया लाल
गिरिवरधारी नंद दुलाल
हे नंद दुलाल प्रभु नंद दुलाल प्रभु मदन गोपाल
नंद दुलाल प्रभु नंद दुलाल प्रभु मदन गोपाल
हे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा
कृष्णा कृष्णा
कृष्णा कृष्णा
हरे हरे
हरे हरे
हरे राम
हरे राम
हरे राम
हरे राम
राम राम
राम राम
हरे हरे
हरे हरे
राधे राधे
राधे राधे
राधे राधे जय 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 राधे राधे
जयो प्रभु Prabhupada Jagadguru.
Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada Jagadguru.
Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada Jagadguru.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada Jagadguru.
Jayo Gurudev, Jayo Gurudev, Gurudev. Jai Gurudev Patite Pavon.
Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Gurudev Patita Pavan.
Jayo Gurudev, Jayo Gurudev, Gurudev. Jai Gurudev Patite Pavon.
Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Gurudev Patita Pavan.
Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur,
Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari
Oh,
Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari
Oh,
Bol.
Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
जयम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजक श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय। नित्य निलय प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजक श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की। साक्षात गौरमुक्ति श्री गौरकृष्णदास बाबा जी महाराज की। सच्चिदानंद श्रील भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की। वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की। सर्वस्वामी प्रभुगण की। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। भुवन मंगल हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। गंगा जमुना मैया की। भक्ति देवी वृंदी देवी तुलसी महारानी की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की। मायापुर नदी नवद्वीप धाम की। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की। द्वारकापुरी धाम की। जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की। प्यारे सचिनंदन निताई चांद की। श्री श्री गिरिराज महाराज की। सुदर्शन की। सुदर्शन महाराज की जय। मणिमा की जय। श्री श्री राधा माधव सखी वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा रमन लाल की। सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरु महाराज की। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ऑल गॉडेस assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण। ऑल गॉडेस assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण। ऑल गॉडेस assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण। ऑल गॉडेस श्री गुरु एंड गौरांगो। ऑल गॉडेस टू श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
So, did you enjoy that? You don't have to go to gym, just come here. Free membership. So now we're going to do Nrsingadev prayers. I would like to ask one of the students to do Nrsingadev prayer. I'm sure you know it. You want to sing Namaste? Oh, you. Okay. Yes. So this is prayers for whoever is not well or they need some help. Just think about Nrsingadev.
That's fine. Namaste Narashinghaya Prahalad यतो यतो यामि ततो न सिंहः बहिर्न सिंहो हृदये न सिंहो बहिर्न सिंहो हृदये न सिंहो बहिर्न सिंहो हृदये न सिंहो नरसिंहमदीं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरे अद्भुत सिंहा दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवदीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवदीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Lord Nrsimhadev ki, Bhakta Prahlad ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Gurudev ki, Aaj ke Anand ki. So, can you put the lights on? The middle one. So, thank you very much for coming. Jai Ho, Jai Ho. So, did you all enjoy yourselves? Hope you enjoyed your company. Please, whenever you can make it, do it, but do study. Because that's why you're here, right? I don't want you to go home saying, I've given up studies, I'm joining Hare Krishna, as we get a bad name. You got a good name with Krishna, but everybody thinks, what happened, you know? Please do your studies, because the temples can't support you. You know, you support the temple. So get a good job and then you support the temple. If anybody wants to sponsor any Bhagavad Gitas, we had Gita Jayanti, it's £10 a copy, and we give it to the students who are absolutely broke. True? Yeah, maybe you are. So we give them a free copy, so it becomes the companion for life. So please, £10 a copy if you want to sponsor, please do so. Today I went to a program, they sponsored 3, and it's wonderful. Because it's a perfect Christmas gift. Other gifts, you take the wrapping off and it doesn't give you anything. But you open this one, it gives you a life, transcendental life. So thank you very much. So what we'll do is, any announcements? Big program, any big programs? There's one program on Saturday. Some devotees are coming to paint the walls because they're picking up the darkness. So that's a festival on Saturday for those who want to come. Oh yeah, Christmas Day is a special event. All you people who don't have anywhere else to go, please come here at 4:30. And we got a lovely treat, loads of kirtans, and pass the parcel for children. Anybody over 70, that's me included, yeah. And, no, musical chairs for elderlies. Because you sit on the chairs anyway, huh? Okay, come on, Tulsi, come. Guruvani is gone, yeah. Okay, make an announcement then.
We're doing Secret Santa.
No, you got to face the audience. I mean, I've been doing it for the last 40 years. It gets harder every time. Go on.
We're doing Secret Santa.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Everybody say Hare Krishna. Now you start.
Okay, we're doing Secret Santa for the children and adults. So if anyone would like to join, just let me know and I'll put your name in.
And what name for what? What happens? I don't know.
It's a draw. So we'll put everyone's names in and you pick a name out and then you get that person a gift.
Okay, you got to go to the shops and buy it?
Yes.
I don't think you're going to get that many volunteers here. Okay, whatever that means. I think you sponsor a gift or something. Yeah, contribution, you're looking for...
Secret Santa, basically, you all get paired up with someone secretly.
Yeah.
And whatever that person is that's being drawn for you, you have to buy a gift for them. And someone else in the group will pick your name eventually, and they buy a gift for you. And it's all secret. And then you realise on the day who bought you what.
But you got to I mean, who's buying this, the presents? Because somebody's got to buy it.
Or if that fails, we can just do it.
Oh, forget it. Just do whatever you want. It's beyond me. We never had these secrets. In Krishna consciousness, only secret, most confidential secret is to love Krishna. The rest are... Okay, you get it. You know what she means. I don't understand. Okay, so any other announcements? So Christmas Day, on the day itself, you can have your family gathering at lunchtime. Then 4:30 you come here, and we're going to have a really good festival. Many people object. They're thinking, why are you celebrating Christmas? It's no Gaudiya Vaishnava or whatever. I think Krishna is in charge of everybody. So whatever festival is going, we should get involved with it. Because every day is a festival for us. And I love it. When I came to this country, I love Christmas. You know, we used to go to office parties and all that. And everybody used to get friendly. And I was thinking, whoa, that's a funny way of celebrating. boys and girls, you know, they give Christmas kisses and all that kind of thing. And I just come from Kenya, and I'm thinking, oh my God, we don't talk to girls. It's like, you got a girlfriend? No, I don't have a girlfriend. You deny it. So when I saw that, I thought, that's a funny way of, you know, celebrating a religious day. But then I found out later on that Jesus was born in June or July or something like that. That's what some say. So this was a pagan thing.